Well, hello. My name is Bill Simpson. I'm at my cabin in scenic and picaresque Russell Gulch, Colorado. What I'd like to do this afternoon is talk about William of St. Thierry's treatise De Natura et Dignitate Amoris, on the nature and dignity of love. Now, On the Nature and Dignity of Love is an early work by William of St. Thierry that dates from the first half of the 12th century. William himself was an abbot of the Benedictine monastery of St. Thierry near Reims, and there's a scholarly consensus that says that William based his treatise on conferences that he had given to the monks there. The text also suggests to me that William was mainly addressing younger monks and that he wanted to give them an idea of what to expect should they hang around the monastery for 15 or 20 years. So what was it that William wanted the young monks to know? Well, we get a succinct statement about what happens when things go right in the last paragraph. Now, here's how I translate it. From the wholesome purpose set out at the beginning, all the way to the end of the journey, wisdom solidly supports the courage of those moving upward, guarding them lest they fall, shrewdly arranging everything in good times and bad, and transforming and rearranging their circumstances so that they might return to the beginning and disappear into the hidden face of God. Now, notice that William is alluding to the Magnificat antiphon for December 17th. That's the first O antiphon. Quote, O wisdom, you came forth from the mouth of the Most High, and reaching from the beginning to the end, you ordered all things mightily and sweetly. Come and teach us the way of prudence. Now, to our ears, the material that I just translated doesn't sound like a radical statement, since at least William James's Varieties of Religious Experience, published in 1905, were accustomed to descriptions of encounters with the numinous told, as it were, from the inside out. Moreover, the work of monastic writers like Thomas Merton has led to the standard view that the fourth Benedictine vow, conversion of manners, conversatio morum, is a promise of ongoing growth as opposed to a commitment to a static situation in which one discharges scheduled obligations. For William, however, this is fresh territory. And the sentence I just translated shows a break with the monastic past and a change in European consciousness more generally, I think. It marks a fresh start, and for our purposes, it can also serve as a landmark as we explore the somewhat gnarled structure of De Natura et Dignitate Amoris. Now, William himself is a transitional figure. Both the Benedictines and Cistercians, who were a reform of the Benedictine order, claim him. William himself was a friend of Bernard of Clairvaux and ended his life as a monk of the nearby Cistercian monastery of Signy. He died on September 8th, 1148. Now, as a transitional figure, what influences did he encounter, and what was it that he was trying to assimilate? Well, in his studies at the cathedral school at Reims, William appears to have encountered Aristotle's Physics and De Anima. Now, the core feature of Aristotle's psychology, as well as his physics, is teleological natural science. That is, the idea that living things scroll themselves out in space and time according to their intrinsic natures, and that their identities are expressed in that in that self-unfoldment. Now, the picture that William draws of grace building on nature appears to be founded on exactly this scholastic insight. Moreover, the ideology of courtly love was in full flower in William's time. In its more secular form, the aim of the courts of love was the transformation of a knight's bodily desire into love, amor, through the service of his lady. William's friend Bernard of Clairvaux even went so far as to compose a treatise called In Praise of the New Knighthood that commended the Knights Templars' exploits in the service of the Virgin. And coincidentally or not, the Templars and the Cistercians both used the same tune for their Salve Regina. Now, significantly, William pairs the Aristotelian term natura, that picks up this time-bounded self-unfoldment, with amor, the word for courtly love, in the treatise's title. The point is clear: de natura et dignitate amoris, on the nature and dignity of love, is meant to promote the role of natural desire in the spiritual life, particularly, as we shall see, in the early steps along the way. Now, the way that William envisions is a synthesis of biblical and patristic theology, and we can summarize it this way. Humans, says William, were made in the image and likeness of the Trinity, retain the divine image, but have become alienated from God's likeness. However, we can recover the divine likeness through the grace of Christ's incarnation. If you want to follow up this theme further, take a look at David Bell's 1981 work, Image and Likeness, the Augustinian Spirituality of William of St. Thierry. There's also this guy named Simpson who's got a book out called From Image to Likeness, published in 1997. So, William's job in On the Nature and Dignity of Love is to assimilate Aristotelian thought about human nature and his own era's new embrace of natural affection. And he wants to assimilate that into the Image to Likeness project. So now let's turn to the structure of On the Nature and Dignity of Love. To contemporary readers like you or me, encountering the book for the first time, it's going to be opaque, or if you prefer, gloriously Gothic. And this is because William appears to have three, count them three, expositional schemes going on at the same time, one stacked on top of the other. Now, first there's the image to likeness dynamic that we mentioned earlier. As William remarks in chapter 1, quote, "The triune God created humanity in the divine image, forming in them a sort of likeness to the Trinity, wherein the image of the Creator Trinity was also to shine out," close quote. Now, the three aspects of this inner human Trinity are the mental faculties of memory, reason, and will. William gives us a picture of memory begetting reason, reason, think, logos, with voluntas, which you can translate as either will or desire, emerging from the two. Health and wholeness comes once our inner mental life patterns the life of the Trinity. So just as love for charity, caritas in Latin, agape in Greek, is the proper name for the Spirit, the aim of the monastic practice is the transformation of natural affection, amor, into charity, caritas. Next, William sets this transformation of image to likeness within an account of stages of life. So we get enthusiastic youth, stable maturity, wise old age. Now, more about this in the next video. Finally, William contrasts virtues associated with youth, maturity, and old age with the 12 degrees of humility that we find in chapter 7 of Benedict's Rule. So to summarize where we've gone so far, in On the Nature and Dignity of Love, William of St. Thierry is running three motifs simultaneously. There's a story about the healing of the inner Trinity. There's an account of stages of the monastic life journey. And there's a comparison of virtues to be expected at different stages in the monastic journey with Benedict's degrees of humility. William's overarching goal is to incorporate the Aristotelian picture of living things growing into their true natures and the newfound interest in human affection into the older incarnational spirituality that focused on the recovery of the divine likeness. Now, going forward, we're going to look at how William reimagines Benedict's degrees of humility. So stay tuned.